What's going on, guys? So today we're going to be recapping and ranking the Marvel Legends series Avengers Endgame Wave 2. And there were a total of 8 figures in this set, including the Build-A-Figure Hulk. WarMachine does not include a piece to the bath, so there's basically 6 figures if you're only trying to complete the Build-A-Figure that you would need to purchase. But I'm going to go ahead and rank all 8 of them. Now, before we get into the ranking of the figures, I want to give some more details on the Professor X giveaway. Now, the first requirement, which I mentioned in a couple of videos now, I think, is that you need to be a subscriber. That's a really important element for me in helping build my channel and helping me be able to continue to do more of these giveaways. So I'll be doing the giveaway at the end of June, the last week of June. I'm floating the idea of doing a live stream, so I don't have an exact date in mind yet, but stay tuned because each video that I drop, there may be more updates as we get closer to the giveaway. Now, let's go ahead and get started with the ranking of this wave. At number 8, I'm giving it to Rock Python. This wasn't a figure that really excited me. He didn't have a lot of movement, with his head as far as being able to tilt it back. The Serpent Society, I think they have a fan base. I just don't think it's very large. And growing up, I was in the kind of the world of Transformers and G.I. Joe, so the Serpent Society kind of reminds me of G.I. Joe and Cobra, more specifically. And I think maybe if I would have grew up reading the comics and saw the Serpent Society in them, then it would have brought back some form of nostalgia, and I probably would care more about the figures. But because I don't have that attachment to them, I don't really care about the figures. They don't look modern enough. They're obviously retro, they're accurate to the comics at the time, but it's just not my thing. So I can understand why people would want these figures. I'm not knocking them, but on my list, gotta give them the bottom spot at number 8. Now, moving into number 7, I'm giving this to Loki. And really, it's kind of the same concept. This is an older version of Loki, more retro, circa 1960s, mid-1960s maybe. This is how he looked. I would have preferred a more modern take on Loki, but again, I think it's due to the effect of me not having a connection with this version of Loki. As far as a figure, I think he has great articulation. A removable helmet probably would have been pretty cool. His hair was blonde. He had a different look back then, I guess. His hair was pliable. The figure itself I have no problem with. I'm happy to have it in my collection because it's the only Loki figure based on the comics that I have. I do have several MCU Lokis though. So with that said, that's why he's getting number 7. Moving into number 6, I'm giving it to Union Jack. And this was a pretty tough call for me because I actually love this figure a lot. And I have a Marvel Unlimited subscription for the sole purpose of researching characters that I'm not that familiar with, because we do tend to get a lot of obscure characters in these Marvel Legends series waves. So I did some research, read a few books that Union Jack was in, and I think he's pretty awesome. So, I like the figure before I even knew anything about him, and I like it that much more now that I've learned some things about him and seen him in action. So definitely a figure I think is worth having in any collection. But in this wave, this is where he falls. At the number 5 spot, I'm giving it to WarMachine. And it's not because I think this is a bad version of WarMachine, it's just because it's another version of WarMachine. And so That's really the only reason. I actually think it's the best version of War Machine that they've released. I love the size of him. I love the look, the detail that they put into it. Awesome figure. Definitely worth picking up. Another con, I guess you would say, is that, you know, maybe it's a con for you, maybe it's not, but he doesn't include a Build-A-Figure piece, so he's kind of an optional character. So from that respect, I think Marvel may have done some collectors a favor because there are already other versions of War Machine, so they're not forcing you to buy another War Machine just to get the Build-A-Figure piece. So, you know, it's kind of hit or miss, but for me, this is where he falls in this wave. At the number 4 spot, I'm giving it to the Build-A-Figure Hulk. And this is pretty much for the same reason that I ranked War Machine the way that I did. We had other Hulk figures. However, they did make good improvements on the size. I'm pleased with the size of it. I had some issues with the hair, the way that it was, you know, sculpted up there. You can just kind of tell that it's glued. But other than that, the facial detail is amazing. I also would have liked to seen him in the suit that he wore throughout the movie versus the ripped up pants. It's worth having in your collection in my opinion, but this is where it ranks for me in this wave. The number 3 spot was a very tough one for me, but I'm going to have to give it to Shuri. Now, the reason why is because I feel like Shuri should have been in the Black Panther wave, at least wave 2. I don't understand why they put her in the Endgame wave at all. It really doesn't make much sense to me. I'm happy to have a Shuri figure, but I think that they waited too long to bring her out. And, you know, she was an integral part of the Black Panther movie, so I think she probably should have been in wave 1 of that. Now, regarding the figure itself, the only issue I had with it was I think that the skin tone could have been a little bit more vibrant, and the outfit that she has on, I'm not really sure on where it comes from color-wise. It may be that this is what she was wearing in Endgame. I looked online for some pictures and I couldn't find anything to confirm that or not. It's definitely not the outfit that she had on in the Black Panther movie in the Battle of Wakanda, because that one she did have the blue, more of the blue accents in her outfit. So I'll assume that this is what she had on in Endgame, but she didn't really play a huge part in Endgame. So that's why I'm ranking her the way I am for this wave. Other than that, the figure is a must-have. You know, if you're a Black Panther fan, definitely worth adding to your collection. And like I said, it was a tough call putting her at the number 3 spot, but that's where she fell. This was also tough. The top 3 it's really tough when you get to that top 3, but I'm giving that to Beta Ray Bill. And Beta Ray Bill, I'm happy to see him in action figure form. I think they could have made him a bit taller in my opinion. I still haven't had a chance to go back and do the research to see how he scales with different figures. Beta Ray Bill's a must-have figure, no doubt. So let's move on to the number 1 spot. At number 1 we have Marvel's Rescue, aka Pepper Potts. Now the reason that I'm giving Pepper Potts the number 1 spot, and it's probably going to be a debate in the comments, I would imagine, but it's the first time we've seen the Rescue figure in action figure form that the general public can get in the Marvel Legends line. Now, I know that there was some version of Pepper Potts that was like, I want to say it was released through the Marvel Unlimited subscription program, but this is the first time that we're getting her for public consumption for the masses, I guess would be the easiest way to say it. Now, do I think there are things they could have done better with this figure? Absolutely. I think that they could have given her an alternate head with the Pepper Potts head unmasked, or either with the mask flipped up or something. I think they could have given her alternate hands open with the repulsor blast. Some type of blasting effects would have been appropriate for this figure. We've seen that in the past with some of the Iron Man figures. But what I think they did get right was the double jointed elbows on a female figure, so I can't knock it too much for that. Everybody's gonna have their own ideas of what constitutes a good action figure and what doesn't, what features they look for. So this is really just my opinions. There is no right or wrong. But let me know in the comments how you guys rank this wave. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so, because you don't want to miss out on this Professor X giveaway, and I'll also be doing some more giveaways coming up. So make sure you click the notification bell, stay subscribed so that you know when these videos get released. Follow me on Instagram. And thank you guys for your support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.